the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem HaKakwadash. And I would like to open up with this precept. This is 2 Timothy 2, verse 2. It says, I'll start at 1. This is the Apostle Paul talking to Timothy. And he says, Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushai. Second verse. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. What does that mean? That means the Apostle Paul wasn't put on the earth to entertain people. The apostles wasn't put here on the earth to entertain people or to give movie makers, producers, directors ideas to make movies. Oh, let me make a movie about Peter. Oh, let me make a movie about Jesus, as they call him. You know, people that made the Lord idols, famous people, you know, characters. You know, people will tell you about what the Lord did based upon a movie that they saw about the so-called white Jesus, a white actor playing the white Jesus. And this is why these stupid Christians, they'll tell you that he's white because they see those goddamn movies, and then they'll go to church on Easter and they'll see the images of the various saints, the Lord and the saints, and that's why they believe that the Lord is a white man. There's no scripture where it describes our Lord looking like a so-called white man, which proves that these Christians don't know the scriptures. And they turn the Lord, Peter, Paul into celebrities, into something that you look up to. Celebrities is the best word to use. And you have a lot of me being in this truth for so many years. You have a lot of individuals that follow this because they make certain men celebrities. We're not here to put an act on for you. We're telling you what's going to happen. This is not a thing where you come around us and you cool with us and you go about your business. When you learn this word, this truth, you're supposed to go out there and teach others. You got some Israelites that have come around, you know, back in the day and still today. You have gatherings, cookouts, and so forth. And you got guys out there that are lukewarm, but when it comes to a gathering, a cookout, or hanging out, they're there for that. They'll time it where they come to the camp, the last maybe half an hour of the camp, and then after the camp, might get together, have some drinks, chop it up, as they say. The Most High is not looking for people like you. The Apostle Paul said, give diligence to make thy calling and election sure. I'm sorry, the Apostle Peter said that. The Apostle Paul said that ye all show the same diligence. Now, when you look up that word diligence, I'm going to go to 2 Peter. I'm sorry, 2 Peter's 1 and 10. I'm gonna go up a couple of verses. Let me see, maybe the 8th verse. Okay, let's see what the 8th verse says. For if these things be in you and abound, to make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our power. So you're supposed to be fruitful, not unfruitful. Let's go into that word.
Strong's G175, akarpas. Akarpas.
Akarpas. Without fruit, barren, not yielding what it ought to yield. Bear with me for a minute. Bear with me, let me turn this off. As soon as I can find it.
It's our time, baby.
Forgive me for that. Yeah, I'm still acting up. Here we go, here we go. Here we go. Forgive me for that. Let me get back into this. That made me lose my place. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. Let me try this again. Bear with me, please. I'm almost there. Okay, let's go to Colossians 1 verse 10. That ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all, pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of the Most High. Colossians 1 verse 10. And increasing in the knowledge of the Most High. Not coming around or watching the videos to be entertained. We are not celebrities. We're not superstars. We believe that we are the men of the Lord to teach those that are able and willing to teach as well. And this is why you always got to ask, well, when does the new moon come in? Or when's the Day of Atonement? You always ask those questions because why? Because you're not studying. You're not studying. So you follow our lead. Colossians 1 verse 10, that ye might, right now we're in the Sabbath, right? And a couple of days will be the Day of Atonement. On the Day of Atonement, as we do every year, we're going to get together, me, myself, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Imlab, and whoever might come. But if you're not with us, you get with another group or on your own, and you teach on that day. Today, right now, we're in the Sabbath. So what do? You ain't got nothing to do on the Sabbath. You shouldn't be with your girl. You should really be by yourself, either studying if you're building up in this thing, or teaching or doing a video. And if you're in this thing for anywhere from 3 to 6 months or to a year or more, you should be teaching, man. Peter speaks about desiring the sincere milk, which ye may, I'm paraphrasing, grow thereby. So if you're not growing, the Most High doesn't need you. The Most High clearly doesn't need you. If you're not doing a video today, really right now at night or later in the day, you're really deceiving yourself. Be ye doers of the word, not hearers not hearers, but doers of the word, not deceiving yourself. That's why when the ultimate test comes pursuant to Revelation 3 verse 10, a lot of you are going to fail because you're not on fire. You're either lukewarm or you're cold. Or the Most High, the truth is not your first priority. The Most High is not coming to save somebody that's not diligent, that think this thing is a joke. Colossians 1 verse 10 again, that ye might walk worthy of Yahweh unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing, growing in the knowledge of the Most High. If you're not that, you're either a spy, you're either a guy that was called but not chosen, you're either a false prophet, or you might not even be, you might be a tear, you might be an Edomite that looks like a Jake. The Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 5 and 11, knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade all men. So Paul knew the terrors of the Lord. You dudes out there that are lukewarm, that are wishy-washy, you don't fear the Most High. You're just entertained by this. And the Most High is going to separate the ones that are really in this truth and the ones that are full of shit. Anyway, let me go into Revelation 17. And it's entitled, if you go to the blue letter, the doom of Babylon. Who or what is Babylon? Babylon is America. When you go to the book of Revelation and you do a word search on the word Babylon, which in other words is the Hua that sitteth upon many waters, that great city, it describes this place right here. And this guy Biden, he is pretty much used as a pawn, a puppet, to really destroy this place. He's here to bring chaos. There was a thing on the news. I didn't get a chance to read it, but these people from Afghanistan that are coming into this country, they're not being vetted. They're not being checked out for what diseases they have and whether they're terrorists or not. Well, there was a report that it said they found 5 cases of 5 people that had the measles. And the measles, that's a terrible plague, man. And they're giving them money. The government is giving them checks. I believe it's 2,000, almost 2,300. I believe that's a month. They're setting them up in houses. They're giving them benefits more than what they give you, someone that's born here. But they're not being vetted. They're not being quarantined. They don't know if they have the COVID. They don't know if they, well, they do. They, like I said, there's at least 5 cases of measles. And that 5 can turn into 50. That 50 can turn into 500, 5,000, 50,000. So this man, Biden, is just here to really bring chaos. Because out of chaos comes what? Order. They're establishing a new world order, but first they have to bring chaos. Everything is being put in place for this destruction. It says, Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, which is Babylon the Great, that sitteth upon many waters. It's not the Roman Catholic Church. It's not the world system. It's this place with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, went to bed with, meaning they had backdoor deals or open deals. They're getting ready to have, in another couple of days, the UN General Assembly, where you get all these nations around the world, which they call them terrorists, and we're not allies and we're allies. They all get together in one big room. And I've been in that room. I've been in the UN. I did deliveries in the UN. There was a brother that was in the truth, that was a high security officer that was armed, that worked in the UN. So I've been in the auditorium. You get all these nations, all these so-called terrorists, like Afghanistan, there's a seat for them. Iran, there's a seat for them. Iraq, there's a seat for them. Nigeria, there's a seat for them. South Africa, there's a seat for them. Egypt, there's a seat for them. China, there's a seat. So all these nations are all going to come together, and they all do deals with the Hua. It says, 2nd verse, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. These any member of the UN General Assembly, any nation, state, they all have to have a election process, democracy. So that's what it meant. That's what it means. In order to do a deal with the U.S., you have to have a democratic elected leader, which came from America. So that's part of the fornication. Also the Americanization of various places on the planet Earth. Because these nations don't know that America is Babylon the Great. Third verse. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. The scarlet-colored beasts represent NATO and the EU, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That's a whole different, another subject, breaking down the 7 heads and the 10 horns. But now there's more than 10 horns. But when you go back to the Roman Empire, it equates to 7 heads and 10 horns. So we're talking more than 2,000 years ago. So that beast is back again. Now the woman is here. The woman represented Rome in the ancient world 2,000 years ago, but now it represents America. Fourth verse. And the woman was arrayed in purple and in scarlet color, which represents royalty, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication, her wickedness. They passed laws where you can be a homosexual, a lesbian. You can have sex with beasts. You can marry beasts. They don't honor the Most High. America does not honor the Most High because they don't honor the Sabbath. If you break the Sabbath, that's a law unto death. There's certain laws unto death. What happened to the man, the Israelite that picked up sticks on the Sabbath? He was put to death. It says, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth, or abominations of the earth. Now, when you add it up numerically in the Hebrew, and I believe you could do it in the Greek, but in the Hebrew, it adds up to 666. Revelation 13, verse 18. And his number is 666. So mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, mystery, Babylon the Great, the first 6, the mother of harlots, the second 6, and abomination of the earth, the third 6. So if you want to take, what you have to do is you have to get a New Testament Hebrew Bible, and when the Hebrew characters are also numeric characters or numbers, and when you take the names Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and abomination of the earth, you add it up, you come up with 666. So that's his number. Sixth verse. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the wine of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. Why? Because the woman also represents, this is the proof that the woman also represents the Roman Empire. Because the saints and the martyrs of Yahushua, the Apostle Paul, the Apostle Peter, the Apostle James, and many other Israelites were slain during the time of the Roman Empire more than 2,000 years ago. And pursuant to Revelation 20, verse 4, some of them will be slain again. So let me read the 6th verse. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. And now you got to go into Daniel the 7th chapter. And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now that word admiration means love, meaning she was something to look upon, like you look upon a woman to lust after her. You admire that woman because you see her thighs and her cleavage and so forth. So John the Revelator was taken aback by her beauty. 7th verse. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman. Because John didn't know what the Spirit was telling him. He actually saw a woman. He actually saw a beast. So he had to get the understanding of what it meant. And guess what? He still didn't understand it. We understand it today. So we can honestly say we are above the prophets of old. We are above the apostles because they didn't understand these visions. We understand them perfectly. And of the beast that carrieth her, which is NATO and the EU, the woman is America, the USA, which have 7 heads and 10 horns. Now you can pretty much say that there's either 28 or 29 horns. 8th verse. The beast that thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. The beast is the ancient Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire fell. Revelation 13, starting from the first couple of verses. Behold, his deadly wound was healed. That's the Roman Empire. And it came back to life. That deadly wound was healed. And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, which is Europe, out of Spain. If you want to get into the gist of it, to be particular, it came out of Spain. The power at that time, during the time of the late 14th, 15th century, the power of the world was Spain, not so much Rome. The papacy of that time came out of Spain. And it was Christopher Columbus that came out of Spain. So that's when this devil woke up from the dead, so to speak. It said, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So that's this system right now. The beast system and the whore that sitteth upon many water and go into perdition. Perdition means destruction. So what's going to go into destruction? The great whore, along with the rest of the beasts. It tells you that in Daniel, the 7th chapter. But the place that's going to burn up is the whore. And you're going to have Edomites in certain parts of Europe. They're going to try to fight us, but we're going to have spiritual power. And we're going to have fun taking them down. And after enough of them die, they'll get the message and they'll yield. So we're coming to that time. We're coming to that time. The great, the charagma has to take place. Then the destruction. Simultaneously, we will be beamed up. We look to be beamed up if we are of the elect. And we will look down and see the destruction. We will behold the reward of the wicked pursuant to Psalm 91. And then we will come down, New Jerusalem coming down from heaven. We are the New Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city of peace, is a people before it's a place. We're the Israelites. And when we're gonna come down to earth, and we're gonna shackle, and then we're gonna take over the whole earth, and we're gonna shackle the kings up and the nobles and the rich. They're gonna be shackled up. Not the ones in America, because they're gonna be burnt up. We're talking about around the world, different Germany, Great Britain, France. You know, these European nations and the other nations as well, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they beheld or behold the beast that was Roman Empire and is not and yet is. So that's the only empire that fell. The Egyptians never came back into power. The Babylonians never came back into power. This is the only power that went down and came back into power again. To be specific, coming out of Spain. 9th verse. And here is the mind which hath wisdom, the 7 heads of 7 mountains, which represent kingdoms, on which the woman sitteth. So that was Rome, and now that's America. And there were 5 kings. 5 are fallen, and one is. The one is the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire. The 5 that fell was Germania Major, Germania Minor. So you got 2. You got the French. You got Hispaniola, and you got Greece. And then you had the smaller European nations under them, the smaller regions under the Roman Empire, which Palestine was part of the Roman Empire. And one is, and the other is not yet come, that's America. And when he cometh or she cometh, he must continue a short place. I'm space. I'm sorry, that's England. That's Britannia. Britannia. And the beast that was and is not, even he is, or more appropriately, she is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. So the 8th will go into destruction. When you read Revelation 18 chapter, it's all about the destruction of Babylon the Great, the woman that sitteth upon many waters. The woman that sitteth on the scarlet-colored beast. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. And that represents the EU, which now there's like 28, 29. Which have received no kingdom as of yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So somebody do the math on that. When did the EU come about? When did NATO come about? When did America come about? Because there's specific years when the EU came about. The bringing together of the EU was a treaty called the Treaty of Rome. There was a big, large room with a bunch of seats in it, and all of them in there were Edomites. Wasn't no other nation in that room, which was called the Treaty of Rome. And I believe that was 1957. So that was the beginning of that 1 hour. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, to the other greater nations of Europe, the NATO nations. And you have NATO nations that are part of the. You have EU nations that are part of NATO, and you have NATO nations that are part of the EU, but not all NATO nations are part of the EU. Canada is not a part of the EU. America is not a part of the EU. But the rest of the nations of NATO, I believe, I don't remember if Turkey was a part of the EU or a part of NATO. But England was a part of the EU. England, there was a thing a couple of years ago called Brexit, where England pulled out. And that's going back to your Daniel, the second chapter, about the feet of it, part of iron and part of miry clay. It's a victory for the Lamb, 14 verse. Revelation 17 verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, that's Yahushua. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Who are the called and chosen and faithful? The ones that are diligent to this work. The ones that are out there on the highways and the byways. The ones that are sitting down doing videos, doing sit downs. The ones that are constantly teaching. The ones that are not taking breaks. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and nations and multitudes and nations and tongues. America is known as a great melting pot. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. That represents the EU nations and the NATO nations. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh as it were with fire. And that fire is that nuclear fire. So they're worrying about what the Chinese might do to them. They're worried about what the Russians will do to them. But all of their allies, their European allies, will shoot missiles on them. 17. For the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So like I said, here's a prophetic timetable. And that's a topic right there. A prophetic timetable. We're right at the door of the charagma, or the MOTB. Now, when that takes place, which is happening right now, when that takes place, when they actually introduce and make mandatory the charagma, everything's going to move lightning fast. We're not going to be here for the next 10 years, up in the mountains some goddamn where, running from the beast. As soon as the charagma is made mandatory to the majority of the planet, the world, in the oikoumene sense, Revelation 3 verse 10, coming to pass, the ultimate test, then it might be another 2 months, might be another 3 months. Everything's going to go, I can't tell you exactly, but that's when your eyes got to be open. So all you individuals out there that came into Israel, came across a camp, joined a camp, became a camp leader, was a part of a camp, did sit downs, went out there on the highways and the byways. The ones of you that are slacking, that are lukewarm, those are the same ones that's going to take the charagma, because the Most High is going to put it in your mind to do so. All of you people have been asking questions, one comment section to another comment section. Well, I got a good job. Well, guess what? You're going to have to give up that good job. You might have to be homeless for a while. You might have to live up in the woods for a while. The scriptures say, be ye as pilgrims in the earth. So there could be some rough times ahead. And you know who's going to catch it the most? They catch the most hell, you damn women. And don't be surprised if your woman, your damn woman, go ahead and take it and behind your back and get your children to take it. 18 and last verse. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So who's the real ruler of the earth? Everything is really coming out of America by way of England. England, that's where the secret hidden kingdom is. But it's channeled to America. That's why the UN is not in England. The UN is in America. And it so happened to be in New York. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.